Ringworm Relief was created from personal experience. I had a cat that got ringworm during touring while I was working 60 plus hours a week. I didn't know much, and trying to find reliable education seemed like more of a hassle than ringworm itself. So on this project, in the front end, we have Parisa and myself, Asher, and on the back end, we have Selena, Odell, and Yen. Ringworm Relief is your one-stop shop. Our services include education, treatment, tracking, and support. In the interest of time, I'm going to just log in. When we log in, we're brought to our dashboard where we can see our pets, calendar, saved articles, as well as account management. Manage account where we can change anything from first name, last name, email, or even password. Manage pets, we can manage any information about them. We can also delete them if we so choose. If we go to our calendar, we can see the events I've already added. I can also go in here, add another one. And we can choose what pet it's associated with. Right now we only have one. And then we can also drag and drop this event to reschedule. We go to education, we can see cleaning, treatment, and general info. We go to support, our forum. This is our newest feature. We can start a new thread. We can select the category, title, and style it however we choose. We can also go into a thread and see any posts we may have on there, upvote, downvote.
Currently, the architecture for our backend application consists of 3 microservices. We do not yet have an established API gateway just due to timing constraints. So implementing an API gateway would definitely help scale the application to accommodate more users and data. So some other benefits would include load balancing, so distributing incoming traffic across multiple instances of our services to prevent any single instance from becoming a bottleneck. Request routing, so directing requests to the appropriate microservice based on the request path or other criteria, of course. Rate limiting and throttling would be another benefit of implementing an API gateway. So controlling the rate of incoming requests to prevent overloading of our services. Lastly, authentication and authorization. So just centralizing security policies and ensuring consistent application of security measures through an API gateway.
Hello, everyone. This is the Educational Articles microservice. It is a Rails app designed to fetch articles from a PostgreSQL database and return them in a JSON format. Here's an example of a GET request to get all articles, as you can see. We decided to use this application in our project. It is deployed on Heroku, and you can see the documentation for this app in my GitHub repo under README. For a search tech, I wanted to build this microservice using the JavaScript framework express.js. I also used a PostgreSQL database, and thanks to Asher, I made it work. This is also an example of a GET request to fetch all articles. Although it's working, but we decided not to use it in our project and to go with the Rails application instead.
Hi, my name is Parisa, and I'm going to be speaking today on behalf of Yen. Yen played a really large role in this project. She wore a lot of different hats. She was in charge of creating the backend for creating a user. So when a user creates an account, user login and authentication, which she did using a JWT token. And our entire backend was split into different microservices, and Yen was in charge of making a gateway to be able to authorize access to the individual microservices. So anything that has to do with a user, so whether that be calendar events, which Yen actually made the backend for, or user pets, or just general user information, all of those requests have to go through an authorization through a gateway that Yen developed. And I believe that she made the backend using, or she deployed the backend using Heroku and used a Postgres database.
So the front end, Parisa and myself decided to tackle the back end for our forum as well as the front end. And for the backend, we're using a JavaScript server, PostgreSQL database, and Heroku for deployment. One of the things that was really challenging about this was not necessarily coding the backend, but actually extracting an embedded image from HTML, resizing it, and then putting it back into that embedded HTML. But this made me realize that our tech stack is maybe not the most optimal, and am looking to move towards Amazon's S3 services instead, so there's no size limit on what I send back. To see the full extent of our app, please go head over to the deploy so you can interact with everything, see how it works, and see the user interaction that's available. Thanks so much.